Well, hello the internet, it's Ghost here, and welcome to my top 10 Minecraft builds that I did this year. And we are starting off with the Christmas log cabin, which was was that our most recent build, or was that a couple of episodes back? I don't know, but it's the first Christmas build we did this year because I wanted to go back to building cabins, since I've basically banned myself from that this year. You can see this video fairly recently, and should I think to, I'm going to link everything in the description down below. And if you do like my builds that you see today, make sure to like and subscribe because there are plenty other builds on this. Well, the cabin does obviously go by my standard block palette. There's spruce, there's something green in there, and in this case we've used some cobblestone and deep slate tiles, but those are my favourite bricks, so obviously had to use those for one of the last builds of the year. And this is the outside of it again, because apparently I filmed it twice. And next up, we have... What do we have? Oh, we have this little thing. Excuse me, I have a cough. I built a little, greenhouse thing right back... Was it March I did this? It was, March, April time, and there's bees and flowers and melons and stuff in it. This was, This was episode 44 this year. I really liked this build because it was just really cute and pretty and colourful, and I added in a giant well as well. Oh, using well multiple times in a sentence. That does not sound normal. I hate trying to do grammar just randomly recording with no script. But yeah, this was one of the filler builds I did. And then the library went in afterwards, I think, and of course this is the library. And unsurprisingly, I went back to my favourite block palette of green and spruce wood. But I did use some sandstone in there and prismarine, there was a bit of birch. Oh, and there's jungle wood. Do I wish I'd built the library slightly bigger? Yes. Are we hopefully going to build a massive grand library at some point? Probably. However, we do have Aziraphale's bookshop from Good Omens on as our next library-based build, because let's kind of face it, I'm going to reset every year of staple builds, I guess. You expect to find a library and stuff, and you might find an aquarium or a zoo or a petting zoo. I could do a petting zoo next year. Should we do that? Okay, and in 7th place, we have the Witch's Tower. This was one of the Halloween builds. I'm really proud of this because I did a weird looking roof. I don't like doing roofs. We talk about this regularly. It does look better at night, but you couldn't see it properly on the video, so I had to record it during the day, and we do show it at night. So you go up this pathway, there's a little garden area with flowers and all sorts of things for food and witchcraft, I guess. Or just brewing potions because it's Minecraft and they don't have magic in it, which is sad. I want magic in Minecraft, and apparently I couldn't walk up these stairs, so I just flew up them. As we get to the very top, which has a fantastic view, might I say, because I kind of put it in a position where it's on a raised bit already, and then you can look out, and this build probably should have been higher up in the rankings. However, there's a lot of builds I really like this year that maybe aren't as big or as grand, but I'm really proud of the builds that I did this year, because in my opinion, they're all really cool, and I didn't really repeat many builds. There were a lot of houses while I was sitting my GCSEs because I figured it was easier to just do the block palette switch series, which deserves a mention because I love that series with my whole heart. We're going to probably go back to it next year. I'm going to be putting together a playlist of season 1 of Creative Minecraft, and you can go and watch all of that dating back to well over a year ago now. I should watch the first episode at some point. I don't remember what I did in that. I built a house or something. There we go. Houses all the time. I'm apparently not stopping this recording. Okay, next up, the Speak Now Castle. This is a joint one for 6th place, because there were 2 builds that I loved equally and I wanted to put together because they're part of the Taylor Swift Village, which is something I am really enjoying working on at the minute. Basically, there is a sectioned out area, it's now a town at this point, let's be honest, for each era of Taylor Swift's discography, which was fun when I had done all the block palettes, and then 1989 TV got announced and we got all the covers for that, and I had to do a bunch of new block palettes because there were 4. Safe to say I did not do that with Midnight's. However, I needed to like switch up the block palette a bit and have some fun for the 1989 section to kind of blend it into red better. You can already see fairly recently the tour of the castle, so go check that video out because we go a bit more into depth. And I must say, I'm really happy with the fact that I mirrored from the floor to the ceiling with the pattern. And the last thing that I have to show you of this was the We Are Never Ever Ever Getting Back Together, is that the whole title? Music video apartment thingy, which basically consisted of me looking at some stills from the music video for that and just building the interior as best as I could. Should I have probably put it on the floor above? Yes. Did I? No. And this brings us to, is this 5th place? Yeah, I think this one's 5th place. The tavern. It is... Sorry. It is like the smallest of the builds on this list. Almost. I think that the greenhouse thing's actually smaller. But I really just like the fact that it's a smaller build. It was done as a filler build, but I didn't have another pub or a cafe at this point, I don't think. There is admittedly another cafe built, and normally I would try and fill it with seats, but I didn't, which was probably a silly idea, but it wasn't like physically big enough to do that. So we kind of had to deal with it. But I'm also, it made the list partially because of the roof. I want to do this roof again next year because I don't do the ones that like the flicky up bits at the end well enough. And finally, we have 4th place, which is another one of the big builds. We have 2 consecutive big builds. And on this channel, the big build qualifies as anything that gets spread over multiple episodes. So if it's 2 or 3 episodes, sometimes I think we had one that was 4 episodes. And I think the aquarium made it to 4. That is to me a big build because it means I have to actually sit down for much longer and I can't just record the entire thing in one go. Anything that takes longer than 45 minutes to an hour, basically. I'm really proud of this because this came out right after the 1.20 update, in which I decided we're going to go dig up a ruins. Fortunately, there was one relatively close by to where I was working on some builds, and there was like basically between the museum and where like the library, the aquarium, the tavern, etc. is the Taylor Swift village. So the train line runs through there, and it doesn't connect to the main world train line yet. It probably will at some point once we expand out, because that is inevitable. This is a growing project. So here is the ruins that got excavated. I don't even remember how many hours this took me, because I ended up digging out all around the sides, and I had to like put in flood walls to stop the water getting in, and it took a while. Let's be honest, the aquarium, no, what words, wow. Let's be honest, the museum probably took longer than it should have. Onto the aquarium, which made it into 3rd place, and it probably would have been 1st place if it wasn't for the fact that I did the Taylor Swift village, and the build that is in 1st is like my absolute favourite from this year. But talking about the aquarium, because we get to that soon. I wanted to build something with animals in after I did the Minecraft Christmas Zoo last year, which you can go check out in the Creative Christmas series from 2022. We didn't do that this year because I couldn't think of Christmas builds. Basically, there's any aquatic animal plus frogs because they're amphibians. And when I went to an aquarium, they had frogs, so they qualify. Also, I got to build a gift shop. I love building Minecraft gift shops. You gotta love it when there's a little shopping things. That is a Doctor Who reference. Wow, bad timing on the cough. I panicked at one point thinking the dolphins had despawned, and then I looked and I was like, oh, there's the other one. I think there's meant to be 4 in there, but I just couldn't see all of them. So, we're now on to 2nd place, which is the You Belong With Me music video houses. They are not made to look like how the houses look on the exterior, because I couldn't be bothered to go back and watch the music video as much as I love it. I just wanted to build it. But you have the 2 windows facing each other, so like you can look through and hold up the sign, say, you okay? Is that what the sign says? Oh, it's been too long since I've watched that music video. I don't watch music videos anywhere near enough. But, yeah, these were like some of the earlier builds that happened in this Minecraft village. when it was actually a village, because we'd just done debut and we were working on this. Obviously, that's how it works. But in first place, I was so proud of this build. Even if it's really deep underground, and I still have the intention to expand it, which is going to be happening next year once I plan out everything, and we're probably going to build more things to do with it. It is the one, the only, the Doctor Who TARDIS. Obviously, it looks quite small and boring, but oh, guess what? It's bigger on the inside! And this build, just honestly, the video is probably better off to go check out to, like, understand my sheer joy of building this. But I when I first watched Doctor Who, I decided, you know what, we're gonna do a TARDIS eventually. But the internet, that's effectively where we're gonna be leaving it for today, because there's still one more build that's already been recorded that is coming out. So I'm gonna leave you here because it is time for me to go and get on with the world tour. Alonzi!